part, because this is the part that deals with the total referendum expenses of a registered promoter in respect of the regulated period, not exceeding $300,000. I wasn't quite sure. I presume that there are amendments also into this part as well from the ACT Party. It just seemed odd to be dealing with them in part two. But anyway, the only point that I want to make is that the citizens-initiated referendum limit is $50,000, and as this is a citizens-initiated referendum masquerading as a government referendum, then I think that the amount should have been the same. This, however, was a negotiated settlement, as it were, between the political parties, and we've swallowed some dead rats on both sides, and we're not going to have a debate about who swallowed the bigger rat. The Minister's looking vaguely uncomfortable. But the reason that this was settled as a figure was because it represented the lower end of the lowest end of a range that represents a medium level campaign spend in the retail sector. So we're talking about, for example, something that would include some television advertising, print media, advertising in the newspapers, and also brochures being delivered to people's houses, and that seemed to be an acceptable level at which to resolve the matter. The one area where I just feel that there is this incredible sense of disquiet, and why there were so many more submissions to the Select Committee on the third-party campaign expenditure limits on the referendum bill as opposed to the other legislation, is because of the access to television. And everyone knows that television advertising is very powerful. Companies wouldn't do it if it wasn't as powerful as it is, and it is able to be used in a way that I think is unfortunate, in that we are going to see a campaign of deliberate misinformation around the effect of the supplementary member system. So I know that every speech that I will be giving between now and when we hold the referendum is to refer to the supplementary member system as first past the post with the winner's bonus, because that's what it is. And I just want to put on record how that would have worked in the last election. Now, fortunately, the Herald columnist John Armstrong put it all together in a nice little piece, and I'm just going to quote that into the record here. Before anyone mouths the words supplementary member, let's beware of false prophets in sheep's clothing. No doubt those wanting to return to those dark ages will seductively offer up the supplementary member system as a halfway house between first past the post and MMP. That system is in part proportional. It might look like a compromise. It is not a compromise. It is nothing short of snake oil elixir. Had last year's election been fought under that system, with a parliament made up of 90 constituency seats and 30 list seats, National would have won 67 of them compared with its current 58. That party would have had an absolute majority of 14 seats with just under 45% of the vote. The Greens' current entitlement of 9 seats would have been slashed to just 2. So much for proportionality. So I wanted to read that into the record on this part of the bill, because I want the public of New Zealand to know that they are not being offered a straight choice between proportional representation and a non-proportional system. They are being offered a proportional representation in exchange for a version of first past the post, which looks like it might be a compromise, but which is nothing of the sort. I think that with the campaign expenditure limits, we have got some hope in ensuring that the public education campaign run by the Electoral Commission has some chance of success, Mr Chairman. Mr Chairman, has some chance of success with respect to the to ensuring that the real messages get out there and people understand what the choices are. The last point that I want to make is in response to one of the comments made by the ACT Party, and that is this. This is not a debate about freedom of speech. It's not about free speech. It's about paid speech. And whether the ordinary New Zealander that he says he is championing, who wants to speak out on behalf against the Prime Minister's position on supplementary member or against against MMP, he is not championing their cause at all. Not one bit is he championing their cause, because what ordinary New Zealander has got access to $300,000 in order to promote their particular view? There are those of us who will continue to express those views, and the expression of opinion is perfectly valid, but paid advertising should be accurate, and it should not misrepresent the importance of this referendum to the people of New Zealand.